are about to know the thrill of seeing that which has never been seen before.
If there's so many people on the earth that he created and we're all praying, how does he have time to listen to all of us?
How comes when I'm sad and I need you, you never seem to answer me?
Why should I believe in God?
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
At the age of about 13, I started stealing. I expect because I wanted someone to take notice of the pain that I was in, but no one did. At 15, I was put in detention centre, which is like a youth prison. Left home at 15. My only qualification was stealing, so that's what I really did. At 19, I was in prison again. Well, you imagine being locked up with yourself 23 hours a day, and there's no friends around, no TV, no music, no distractions, just you. Came out of there, was very angry, always fighting. So I thought I might as well get paid for it, so I started bouncing around the East End and West End clubs in London. Met some guys who seemed to have everything. They had the money, the power, the best drugs, the best drink. And I honestly thought if I could obtain what they've got, that would satisfy this emptiness in my heart. So I started working for these people. But before very long, I wasn't working for them, I was working with them. And these were the people who ran most of the organised crime in London. So to my shame, I was involved in major drug deals, protection rackets, like vicious crime of all sorts. I used to have this designer leather jacket with a sewn in inside pocket, and I used to carry a machete in one pocket and CS gas in the other. Because my lifestyle had got so bad, the painkillers that we take to kill that conscience within had to get so much stronger. So I was on crack cocaine, smoking dope like it was going out of fashion, drinking really heavy. I slowly obtained everything the world says makes you happy. I had the penthouse flat, the sports cars. I was earning thousands of pounds a week. But inside there was an emptiness which I never seemed to feel. Because even though I was looked upon as being a hard man, inside I was a scared man, scared of being rejected for who I really was. So I wouldn't open my heart to anyone because I was so scared of that rejection that I'd felt as a kid. Okay, this is the East End of London. This is where I used to hang out. This is where a lot of the firms used to control the areas that I was involved in. As you can see, it's quite rough, it's quite angry looking, and I would say that represents a lot of how I used to be. I remember a time when the Yardies moved into Hackney, 14 of them at this house, and 3 different firms from the East End got together and they sent a representative round to tell them to move out. They wasn't wanted in the East End of London. And their answer was they stuck a submachine gun in this guy's nostril and said, that's our answer. And that night, 8 of them were shot dead. You think you're invincible. Violence was a way of life for me. That's what I was involved in day in and day out. I wouldn't sit with my back to any door. I'd always sit with my back to a wall because there was people who wanted to shoot me, you know what I mean?
All 12 Marines aboard the Black Hawk were killed this morning when
a young
crashed
lady
here
stabbed.
at about
This
is the second suicide in less
Brooklyn boys violence in the West Bank, killing all
19 known deaths. 10,000 people are dead. The car bomb
the body of that fatally shot.
That are causing great suffering and anguish in these times of terror.
Yeah. Feel it. Don't be afraid. Feel it.
You think that you're the only one that gotta suffer? You think that you're the only one with pain to suffer? Everybody got a thing they gotta suffer. Rich or poor, don't matter, gotta suffer. You think that you're the only one that gotta suffer? You think that you're the only one with pain to suffer? Everybody got a thing they gotta suffer. Rich or poor, don't matter, gotta suffer.
Well, my name is Father Stan Fortuna, and I'm a member of the Franciscan Friars of the Renewal. As a young kid, I was an altar boy, and my parish priest was like my awesome hero. I really loved this guy, looked up to him a whole lot, and I wanted to be like him. This whole priesthood thing wasn't my idea, but I did want to be a priest like him when I was a kid, and I used to go to my father and say to him, I said, hey, I bet you're going to be a priest like Father Richard. And my father would say to me, he says, you want to be a priest, you wait till you have your first girlfriend. After you have your first girlfriend, you come and talk to me, don't worry about it, you'll be a priest. So I kind of went off into the deep end, you know, with my friends at a very early young age. And I still went to church every Sunday. I was what I called myself at that time. Now, looking back, I was a Catholic pagan at that time. Went to church every Sunday, but the significance of what was going on there had no connection with what was going on the outside. And so I had a complete dramatic kind of turnaround. It was very abrupt and it was major. And it was through reading and praying and studying with the scriptures. I mean, everything's extreme today. You got extreme deodorant, you got extreme skateboarding, you got extreme this, extreme that, extreme the other thing, extreme sex, extreme drugs, extreme ecstasy, extreme music, extreme TV, extreme nonsense. But the extremity of St. Francis, and he really took the extremity of the gospel and made it so palatable, made it taste so good, made it so accessible that I got really scared, because then I said, uh-oh. It was like my first vocational prayer was, no. Because I sort of heard God calling me, and I was feeling it, and I was sensing it, and I was denying it, and then I was running from it. So for me, God like the divine pit bull. Took a bit on my leg, took a bite on my leg, bit me, wouldn't let go, couldn't shake him, and then I was done in. Eventually, I gave in, and the moment I gave in was the really moment that I actually tasted, for a brief moment, authentic freedom. I have no regrets, and it's totally worth it, you know. And to this moment, it just carries me, strengthens me, sustains me when I fall down, picks me up, keeps me going, keeps me moving, keeps me growing. There ain't nothing better than it. Number one need for young people is the truth. They need the truth, and they need it told to them truthfully. And they need it straight up. That's what they need, that's what they want, that's what they hear, that's what's attractive, that's what's gonna save them, that's what's gonna help them. Truth, straight up. That's what they need, that's what they want, that's what they're looking for. What's the truth? The whole picture. The truth is the whole picture. You can't do it without him, you gotta do it with him, through him, and in him. And if you're gonna try to do it without him, the truth is you're gonna waste a lot of time, and then you find out for yourself. I won't have to tell you.
Some brothers think that they was born only to die, ready to die, willing to kill and crucify, with the make-believe fantasy, violent life of a thug. They didn't realize it was their own grave that they dug with vulgar, intelligent rhymes. They confused on the same CD. They wonder if God will excuse fascination, guns, clips, and chicks. I can't explain, but I know they all be suffering, can't deal with the pain. Every move they make is a calculated step. It brings them one step closer to embracing early death. Looking back, one brother wished he was killed as a baby. They all trapped in a thug storm. It got them going crazy. Some of y'all got gifts. I give you props for your skills. Got to chill, but still knock off the thrill to kill. Too much talent already been wasted. I thank God for y'all. Know you're appreciated. You think that you're the only one that gotta suffer? Ain't just you. You think that you're the only one with pain to suffer? Everybody got a thing they gotta suffer. Rich or poor, don't matter, gotta suffer. You think that you're the only one that gotta suffer? Ain't just you. You think that you're the only one with pain to suffer? Everybody got a thing they gotta suffer. Rich or poor, don't matter, gotta suffer.
So, Father Jonathan, I think the question that young people all around the country is actually asking is, really, does God really care about us?
I think God really cares. I don't think he'd make us if he didn't care about us.
God cares about us very much, yeah.
You know, we're his children. We're made in his image and likeness.
I see signs of God's love every day in my life. Just look at my family, look at the people that I'm with every day. Yeah, God loves me.
The urgency of God yearning for us to come back to him. You know, we're missed.
Why is there so much suffering in the world?
Why is there sometimes war and poverty and suffering, and people pray to you and nothing happens?
How comes we feel pain?
Why does he let such bad things happen, like the Twin Towers and the tsunami things?
The big question that keeps on coming up over and over again is, well, why does God allow suffering?
You know, we're sitting here, aren't we, just a couple of weeks after the big tsunami in Southeast Asia, and I don't know, I struggle with, as much as anybody, with answers to that, really. You know, why such things could happen and why such devastation would affect so many people. Perhaps the question really to ask in circumstances like that is how, as human beings, do we respond to those who are hurting, to those who are in pain? And I think the way people have responded shows that, you know, that even in the midst of things that are really bad, you know, there are opportunities for doing good there.
I ended up hitting this guy. He didn't really deserve it, but I hit him with a knuckle duster and I thought I killed him.
And as I look at this guy lying on the floor, the only thought that came through my mind is I might get 10 years for this.
And I remember I left with this face from the East End, this like bigwig, and as we were driving he kept on saying, "You've killed him, you've killed him." And it suddenly went through my mind that this person was a real person, that he might have had a wife and kids, and that I had ended his life.
See, I used to care. I used to want to make a difference, but here I was just hurting everyone around me. And I never woke up one day and said I was to be evil. It was a slow progression of saying no to everything good and yes to everything bad.
And what had I become? Who was I? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, I was on crack cocaine, I was smoking dope, I was drinking. Everything that I was doing was really to stop me knowing who I was. It was a normal night. It was about a week after this event that I became aware of a voice speaking to me in my heart, a voice who everyone knows, our conscience, you know, the voice within. And I knew that voice was God.
And I'll be honest with you, I thought God was a nice little story made up to keep us from being bad. But here I was
faced with the fact that God was real, and it didn't really matter what I thought. You know, a lot of people say God is not real, he does not exist, and they think that gives them reign to do what they like. But God was real, and God did exist, and I had suddenly been brought to this point. And it wasn't a nice conversion, you know. I didn't go running off to the daffodils with a Jesus Loves Me t-shirt on, and suddenly all my hair grew long, and I picked up a guitar on the way. This was probably one of the most terrifying moments of my life. I'd had people put guns to my head, I'd been stabbed, but this was terrifying because that love that God had for me every day of my life, without me knowing it and certainly not being aware of it, on this night he withdrew himself from me.
Every day of my life, God was pouring out his love on me. But on this night, he withdrew it from me. And it was the most terrifying moment of my life.
Are we the only people in the universe? Doesn't science make more sense than faith?
Sometimes, do you ever look at the world that you've created and sort of wish you'd done anything a bit differently?
Yeah. Feel it. Don't be afraid. Feel it.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. I mean, I know for me, all I gotta do is look up at the stars and something happens to me on the inside. You know? And for me, it's not really like, yo, is anybody out there? Because I see what's out there. And when I see what's out there, it makes an effect on me in here. I get this sense beyond my knowledge that I'm not alone. Now that's a cool thing.
First off, nothing. But God.
No light.
No time.
No substance. No matter.
Second off, God says the word, and whap, stuff everywhere.
The cosmos is in chaos. No shape, no form, no function. Just darkness. Total.
And floating above it all, God's Holy Spirit, ready to play.
So when you call him, a lot of times you say, oh God, it was snowing last night, but it got nice and now there's not enough snow on the ground. Even though it was a little icy, we're gonna have to go to school today. Oh God. Finish the sentence! Because when you go, oh God, he's going, what? And you don't even hear him. So you say, oh God, now my mother's gonna, now I have to get on the bus and be late. And oh God, he's going like, what? So why don't you say, oh God, I'm really disappointed that you didn't make it snow a foot. Finish the sentence. You know? And you say, why am I gonna finish the sentence of, oh God, I don't even know if God exists. I don't even know if I believe in God. Well then tell him that. But who am I talking to? Well then use somebody else's name. I say, oh Fido. And be careful, because Fido might be a demon and you might be calling on demons and spirits and then you're gonna get in big trouble. I don't know if I believe in them either. You want to come back with me on a flight tonight to New York? I'll show you some demons.
I don't know whether God exists or not.
What is our purpose of being here? He hasn't really shown us any sign to why we're here. It's just like, is it a game?
If you're the forgiver of all sins, then why is there a hell?
Sometimes I would like to see that you could show us your sort of power, maybe just for my own sort of beliefs.
How comes we can't get along together?
Why is the different gangs around? Like, you've got all your moshes and your scallies and stuff like, why isn't everyone the same?
Now, people say that separation from God is hell. Well, if that was hell what I experienced, I pray to God no one ever goes there. But I cried out for another chance, not because I was sorry, but because I didn't want to stay in this desolation. And as I walked out of that flat, I said the first prayer I'd ever said in my life. I said, up to now, all I've done is take from you, God. Now I want to give. And as I said that prayer, that emptiness which I was always trying to fill was suddenly filled with the love of God. And in that moment, I knew God could love someone like me. Whereas up to that moment, I'll be honest, I always thought I was useless. And it didn't matter whether I lived or died. But in that moment, I knew it did matter because he loved me. I ended up going to a retreat. I met this old priest, he told me about a retreat that was happening. To be honest, I thought a retreat was lying on the beach, Bacardi breezer, joint, nice bird, just chilling for a couple of weeks. And I thought I could do with an holiday, especially after all this emotional stuff. So I go on this retreat. And I got there and there was about 250 young people. And some of these young people had a joy I had never seen before. And some of them were coming up and hugging me. Well, I don't know if you know ex-gangsters, but we're not into this hugging business, yeah? Like the girls, it was fine, but the guys, please, you don't hug guys around my way, you get slapped, do you know what I mean? So that was the first thing I had to get over. But I remember they had a joy, and I wanted their joy. I didn't know how to get it, but I wanted this joy that they had. My first confession was after 27 years. I think I had broken practically every commandment there was. And I was petrified. I was petrified of telling a stranger my innermost secrets. But somehow God gave me the courage. And I was there over an hour. And at the end of this confession, this priest puts his hand on my head. But it wasn't his hand, it was Jesus' hand. And I knew that Jesus had truly forgiven me for all the terrible things I had done. And I thank God every day that I found him, because I've never been so happy in my life. I work fully for him, I live for him, and my only regret is that I can't be totally and utterly his every minute of every day, because I still fall down, I still sin, I still screw up, but he's there picking me up, helping me, supporting me, and leading me deeper into that love.